you all, this is Eman Booze. Yesterday morning I got up early and I set out to make a pot of gumbo. So the first thing you do is, you got to make the roux. And the roux requires a lot of time, a lot of know-how, and a lot of patience. So I'm sitting there, I got the cast iron enamel pot, I got the oil and the flour in there, and I got the wooden spoon, and I'm going back and forth just to make sure the flour don't burn. And it's starting out real light color, then it go to blonde, then it go to light brown, then it go to darker brown, and so forth. 2 hours and 10 minutes later, I turned the pot off. Then I had to take it outside because we had to leave. I had to cool it down. So what I did, I picked the pot up, put a pot holder underneath it, went outside on the back porch, set it down, and I realized after a couple minutes that the pot was still hot. So I had to hurry up and re-scrape it again, and all of a sudden it got to that real dark color that I was looking for that I couldn't get to when I turned the stove off. And it taught me an important lesson. The lesson that it taught me is that to get things right, you got to have the right amount of time to get them done. So, with that crazy story being told, we're going to incorporate that story into this here review of Smooth Ambler's Old Scout 10-year-old bourbon. Now, you may remember, if you saw one of my earlier reviews when I first started this whole thing a couple of months ago, I did a review on this here very Old Scout, and this little old bottle of this yearling right here, okay, which is a young bourbon, because you see, Smooth Ambler started in 2009. Here it is 2014, so they're about 5 years old. They set out to make bourbon from day one, and they've been stashing all these barrels there, but they're waiting to release them. So what they did in the interim was they bought some really good reserves of whiskey, and they made things like this here very Old Scout, but they also make the Old Scout rye. They make an Old Scout bourbon in a 7-8-year-old version. This is the 10. This is fairly new. It just came out this year. And they started releasing a little yearling, which is giving us a sample of the wheated bourbon that they're working on right now, that they're going to be releasing. They're telling me now within the next maybe 12 to 18 months or so. So we're waiting on that. Now, in the interim, this a couple months ago, they released the 10 for the first time. So of some of the reserves they had, they came up with a 10-year bottling. And I sent them a note yesterday, and they got back to me graciously and let me know it's 75% corn in here, 21% rye, and 4% malt. So that's a good mash bill, pretty high on the rye content. So that's going to play into how this thing tastes here. Now, what I did was I put some in this glass about 5-6 minutes ago, because once again, back to taking time to do things right. I had to make sure I get enough air in here, and the nose is going to change. But let's pour a little bit up from the get-go, and just to see what the time element does to these things here. You can see the color. The color is beautiful. Nice copper penny color. Just beautiful. Beautiful, nice and clear. Okay? Now, I gather to say that if I done smell this one, I'm going to smell different than this one here. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, hell yeah. It's like night and day. You see, back to the patience. You got to have time when you're drinking bourbon. And I always say, put some in a glass and smell it real quick, and then come back to it 5-10 minutes later. Don't even sip on it. Let it open up a little bit. Let the air get into it, and just let it bloom and release all the aromas. So where this is really spectacular on the nose, this here really kicks it up another notch. In this here, and let's do the review from here, because I don't like reviewing if I ain't got enough time to really concentrate on the spirit. This here is throwing off a lot of It does throw off a lot of wood, but it's bright. It's got a little bit of a citrus tone to it. It's throwing off a lot of like a dark brown sugar and a lot of caramel and vanilla. And it's got some fruit esters in it too. I'm thinking like maybe blackberry here. Got a few of the spice notes like the cinnamon and the rye notes here coming up. Got the spiciness. Now it's got some alcoholic heat here, so this is 100 proof. So if you're used to drinking bourbons of a lesser proof, you might want to cut it down a little bit. I'm going to take a taste of the one we first poured here before we get to this one. I got a whiff of mint there. That was cool. But I want to try some. It's hot too. It's a little warm. Not that that's bad. If you're used to it, ain't no problem drinking. But if it's a little too hot for you, that's why you got this here water to cut it down. And we're probably going to do that a little bit too here with this one that's been opened up a little bit more. Let's try this one for a minute here. The rye notes, the spearmint that jump out at you, the wood char, the caramel, the vanilla tones. Just wonderful. Now it is a little racy for me, kind of like a racehorse, like a fast thoroughbred. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tip in just a few little drops of water in here. Throw the rest of that back here into the sink. I hope my wife didn't see that there. Listen. Now look, when you add water to these things here, you got to really steer them up good, because if you don't get it steered up, then what happens is the first drink, it's all stratified and separated, and you get a drink that's real hot and a drink that's real watery. So you got to get it really mixed in good. Now let's see what it does to the nose. Ooh, brought out a nice, like a pear note there. You know, there's a lot going on in this here bottle. Now, this is good sourced whiskey here. And we can't wait to see what they're doing with the wheated bourbons. This is a rye-based bourbon. And, you know, go back and check the review out on this one here. This one's really special. And this is an unopened bottle here, and I ain't even opening it for quite some time. This collectible right here. I was lucky to get a hold of one at Christmas time. But, back to this. Got a back note of anise, little licorice note there, with the wood, with the char, and a little bit of the solventy tones, a little bit of the acetone, which is good. I love that. I don't say that disparagingly. That can be a good note here. This is a big boy, and when you cut it down with a little bit of water, it does adjust. It softens it up just a little bit, and really blossoms out the nose. This is a thinking man's bourbon. You need to take your time with it. You got to focus on it, but you got to have fun with it. So do all that. Now check out Smooth Ambler, because they're up and coming, and the bottles are beautiful. They're doing everything right. They stockpiling the new stuff, and we're going to get to that. They also make a gin with a Mountain Botanicals. I believe they make a vodka. They used to make a white whiskey like a moonshine. They don't release that anymore. And I think I saw the other day that they even got a single barrel Old Scout Bourbon and a single barrel Old Scout Rye. This is the regular Old Scout Rye here. Everything they make, though, is well composed. And so they are a craft distillery on the rise. They're doing everything right. And when you go on their website and see how beautiful the steel is, you just ain't going to believe it. So on that note, have some patience when you're getting into these spirits. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye, you all.